A very good morning to our respected lecturer and fellow friends who have taken the liberty to join and lend your ears for our presentation this fine morning. Before beginning, my dear member Joshua and I would like to express our gratitude for granting us a few minutes to share our presentation with all of you. Allow us to introduce ourselves. Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Dylan Peter and my partner's name is Joshua Michael. My metric number is 01DEM 21F1084. My fellow friends, you may surely have heard, known or seen the consequences of flooding. The collateral damage of it is unspeakable as to what and how it impacts human beings, animals and plants. That aside, do you all know what are the factors in which allow the flooding to occur? Why is this disaster happening around us? As the topic states, I'm going to present the causes as to why flooding occurs. 6 causes of flooding. Numerous occasions and proved how frequently a flood might occur during the monsoon season. Yet, there are other various causes of flooding that the eyes can't see. Do you know about that? If not, then I shall be happy to grab this opportunity in further explaining and deciphering the 6 causes of flooding. Dear friends, my first and main point of what are the causes of flooding is heavy rain. As we all know, the simplest explanation for flooding is heavy rain. No matter where you live, you are surrounded by infrastructure and systems designed to move rainwater into appropriate basins and reservoirs. In most cases, the infrastructure does its job and you never have to think about where the rain goes when the water runs off. When it rains heavily, however, those systems are overwhelmed and that water doesn't drain nearly as quickly as it needs to. To put it short, the drainage systems back up the water, causing it to flood sometimes into homes and houses. This typically only happens in cases of sustained heavy rains over a long period of time. So, I have just discussed that heavy rain can cause flood to occur. Fellow friends, now let's have a look at my second main point, which is the improperly structured urban drainage basins that causes flooding. Many of our cities are made mostly of concrete and other impermeable materials. When you have an urban drainage basin that is made out of concrete, there is no ground for water to sink into. So, what happens? When this happens, those drainage basins will fill up quickly and this means there will be flood for low-lying areas. Right? So, I have discussed about how those improperly structured urban drainage basins can cause flood. Now, my fellow friends, we shall move on to my third and prime point. That is, flood may occur if there are channels with steep sides. Right. Flooding often occurs when there are fast runoffs into lakes, rivers, or other reservoirs. This is often the case with rivers and other channels that feature steep sides. For example, if there are housing areas near a steep side of a hill or a village, that location tends to get flooded easily because the water flows from high ground to low ground. This may increase the risk of the occurring of a flood in those particular areas. It is also a similar issue to having a lack of vegetation, but I will not be explaining that because my partner Joshua will be explaining that in detail later. So I have discussed about how channels, steep sides can cause floods. Now I would like to call upon Joshua to continue with our presentation.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Hi, My name is Joshua Michael. My mentoring number is 01DEM21F1080. I shall move on to our fourth main point, that is overflowing rivers that causes flooding. You do not necessarily need to have heavy rains to experience flooding in your area. For an example, if you live along a river and areas upstream from you experience heavy rain, it could lead to a serious overflow where you live. Most larger rivers include a series of dams to help manage large amount of rainfall, and most rivers systems are managed by government authorities. Sometimes, however, those authorities have to make tough decisions about how to operate dams. They often manage the water and prevent flooding altogether, but not always. So I have just discussed about how overflowing rivers can cause floods. Dear friends, I shall move on to our fifth main point is a lack of vegetation that causes flooding. Vegetation can help slow runoff and prevent flooding. When there is a lack of vegetation, however, there is little to stop water from running off. This can be a bit of conundrum after a drought. While area residents likely welcome the rain, the lack of vegetation after the drought can cause flash flooding. This does not always happen given that basins and lakes are close to empty, but it can occur in cases of extreme rains following long periods of drought. So, I have just discussed how those lack of vegetation can cause floods. Dear friends, I shall move on to our final main point that causes flooding is melting snow and ice. A winter of heavy snow and other precipitation can lead to a spring of flooding. After all, that snow and ice have to go somewhere when they melt. Most mountainous areas experience relatively consistent snowfall total from year to year, but unusually heavy winter of precipitation can smell bad news for low-lying areas around the mountains when spring hits. The good news is that sustained winter precipitation provides a long lead time to prepare potential flooding. That is silver lining at a very least. These are just a few examples of common causes of floods, but there does not need to be an incredible weather event for you to experience flooding at your home. You can experience devastating flooding simply due to a broken pipe as well as other plumbing issues. So I just have discussed about how melting snow and ice can cause flood. My dear friends, today me and my partner Jonathan has discussed about 6 causes of flooding. We had discussed 3 key points, that is heavy rain, improperly structured urban drainage basins, channel with steep sides, and I had discussed 3 key points, that is overflowing rivers, lack of vegetation, and melting snow and ice. My dear friends, let me end our speech by quoting Petra Nemkova, who said that we cannot stop natural disaster, but we can arm ourselves with knowledge. So many lives wouldn't have to be lost if there was enough disaster preparedness. In the same way, as we already realized the causes of flood, we have to find a way to prepare for it. Once again, thank you for being such wonderful audience. It has been a great honor and pleasure for us to be here today. Thank you.